This man will be arrested. Watch this video before it happens. Open now. You've sensed it, haven't you? The way the air folds in on itself just before the world changes. It is not wind. It is not fear. It is not even time. It is the breath of something vast and unseen, curling beneath your skin like smoke trapped under glass. The hours have grown too still, the ordinary has turned too sharp, and the silence between your thoughts now hums like a warning. The veil is thinning. That quiet weight pressing against your chest each morning is not exhaustion, it is anticipation. Heaven has not been idle, and neither has the darkness that stalks the edges of your waiting. There is a place within you that already knows. You've buried the signs behind routine, logic, and distraction, but they have not stopped multiplying. At night, the moon trembled behind torn clouds, watching you. Roads you walk in dreams now twist toward doors you cannot remember locking. And somewhere far below the waking world, a ledger bearing your name has been turned to a new page. A war in slow motion has wrapped its hands around your life. Not with armies or fire, but in whispers, fractures, delays, and inexplicable moments that felt like your soul brushing against something ancient. You were not wrong to notice. What you thought was your life paused, was your life being weighed. God says, this stillness is not peace. It is the hush before the curtain is pulled back. It is the moment before the watchers blink. And when they do, what is hidden will shudder loose. You were marked for a time such as this, though those around you have forgotten what marking even means. The ones who once stood beside you have looked away, called you too much, too intense, too sensitive to invisible things. But they were never meant to carry this burden. Only you were called to recognize the tremor beneath the hour. The echoes of choices you made long ago, before your memory was stitched to flesh, are awakening. You think this is your first battle. It is not. Your name was once spoken in a place where stars are born and erased. There is a reason your steps have never truly blended into the rhythm of the others. In the background of your days, the same faces keep circling, the same cycles keep dragging their chains across your path. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The test was never about surviving the repetition. It was about learning to see it. And now, you do. Archangel Michael says, the final thread of concealment has snapped. You will not return to blindness again. The time for rehearsing pain is over. The sound of cracking has already begun. Did you hear it in your dream, when the mirror whispered your name and bled from the corners? That was no metaphor. It was instruction. Everything built on falsehood is decaying. Everything tethered to your old identity will resist. But resistance cannot stop revelation. There is someone watching you now. Not with eyes, but with intent. They have worn a mask long enough. They cannot maintain the illusion much longer. This is why things have become unbearable. The hour demands unveiling. You may feel the weight of loss before it comes. Do not shrink. Loss is not destruction, it is the unbinding of chains you didn't know were shackles. Some who leave now are not being taken, they are being removed. God says, the things you prayed for cannot exist in the same space as the lies you've allowed. Something must be made holy before the answer can arrive. Holiness is not perfection, it is alignment. And alignment always comes with a tearing. You thought the promise had died. It has not. But it can no longer come through familiar routes. That door has been sealed by decree. The next door will not be given. It will be revealed. Soon you will see. The person who dismissed you, the opportunity that vanished, the friend who turned cold, all of it was coordinated to isolate you from interference. You are being brought to a place of clarity so piercing, your old self cannot survive it. Archangel Michael says, the sword is raised but has not yet struck. The silence is your warning. The tearing is your sign. What you do with the next decision will determine the form of the flame that comes. They will come to you tomorrow wearing old faces and urgent tones. Do not agree to anything. Do not rush. Their urgency is not divine. It is the panic of those who sense the scales tipping out of their favor. You carry something they thought would be broken by now. They were wrong. The sky will break. The seal will snap. The hidden hand that thought itself untouchable will be exposed. But before that, you must face the one who first planted the lie. Not with violence. With recognition. This is why the silence has grown so loud. The lie is unraveling. The moment before the unveiling always feels like suffocation. That's how you know it's almost over. Something you forgot is about to return. Something you lost is being rewritten. And the one who tried to bury you is about to hear your name spoken in thunder. It begins as a whisper you almost ignore, a flicker of memory that doesn't sit right, a phrase said too easily, a look that lasted just 1 second too long. But you know. The soul always knows. It's not paranoia. It's recognition. And tonight, the betrayer stirs. Their face has worn many masks. Some smiled at your table. Some touched your hand in prayer. Others led you through what they claimed was healing, but behind their eyes they envied the calling they could not kill. They planted suggestions like seeds, maybe you're too late, maybe you're imagining it, maybe you're cursed. And you listened. Because you loved them. But love was not enough to keep the knife from entering. And now that blade twists. The betrayal was not sudden. It arrived in shadows, step by step, cloaked in false loyalty. They mirrored your light until they could not contain it. And when you shone too brightly, they shifted. They vanished, turned cold, withheld just enough warmth to make you beg for scraps. You thought you did something wrong. But you did something right. God says, this is not about who hurt you. This is about who revealed themselves. Pain is the price of sight, and now you are seeing clearly for the first time in years. You had to reach this edge to understand. Had they not withdrawn, you would still be handing your pearls to someone with dust in their mouth. They never wanted you free, they wanted you silent, confused, and small enough to keep under their heel. The betrayal was an unveiling. Archangel Michael says, the betrayer is being summoned. Not to destroy you, but to confess, under the weight of their own judgment. Divine justice will not ask your permission. It has already begun. You may not hear their apology. You may never see their tears. But the system that protected them is crumbling. The favor they weaponized is draining. And the power they once held is now dust in the wind of divine correction. Do not chase what God has exposed. Do not run toward what tried to undo you. It is not your job to redeem them. It is your job to walk forward while the fire rises behind you. There will be shaking. You will feel it in your chest as names return to your lips, as rooms become unfamiliar, as the truth rewires your memory. You may grieve, not just the people, but the illusions they gave you. The false safety. The artificial belonging. The illusion of being chosen when in fact you were merely used. This grief is holy. It is the final loosening of the rope they tied around your voice. Let it rise. Let it burn through your bones. Let it leave you raw. For what comes next cannot cling to denial. You were always different, not defective. Your calling has always been too loud for cages. But they saw you as a threat, not because of who you were, but because of who you were becoming. So they fought your future with silence, with delay, with subtle sabotage disguised as concern. And when they could not control your growth, they began to mock your roots. But heaven remembers. There is a ledger kept beyond the reach of men, where every act that touched your life has been recorded in light and fire. And today, that book has opened. Judgment is not cruel. Judgment is correction. And correction has begun. Archangel Michael says, you will see them fall. Not in death, but in relevance. Their influence will shatter like brittle glass. The voice they used to twist your vision will go quiet. And your name will no longer be tied to theirs. Do not harden. This is not about vengeance. It is about severance. You are being pulled out of every agreement, every soul tie, every loyalty that kept you in delay. The light coming tomorrow cannot land in soil still soaked in betrayal. You must be clean. You will be tempted to look back. Don't. The betrayer has made their choice. Even if they weep now, even if they reach out in panic, the rupture cannot be undone. This is not about anger. It is about release. God says, I waited until you were strong enough to know the truth. Now you are. Watch the patterns. Watch who grows frantic. Watch what breaks down around you. These are not coincidences. They are divine cues. The chessboard is shifting. The pieces are aligning. And the checkmate will be sudden. The betrayer underestimated the power of your surrender. They thought if they broke your heart, they'd break your path. But they never saw the angels stationed around you. They never counted on your awakening. And they never expected you to rise in silence when they were sure you'd stay on the ground. Now the betrayer must face their reflection. And it will not be you standing in judgment, it will be the mirror of every false word they spoke, every manipulation they wrapped in holy phrases, every attempt to stunt your progress while pretending to support you. Some of them still smile at you. They think you don't know. But you do. You know it in your gut, in your dreams, in the sick stillness that enters when they walk into the room. And soon, the veil will tear. The truth has already been spoken in the spirit. The moment of exposure is not coming, it has arrived. You will not need to confront them. The confrontation will come from above. And when it does, you will simply walk away. Not with bitterness, but with completion. The cycle ends now. Watch. The betrayer will reach out tomorrow. Their words will sound familiar. Their face may even show remorse. But this is not for you to fix. This is for you to see. Let them speak. Let them scramble. Let them search for a version of you that no longer exists. The door has already closed. You are not who they left behind. You are not who they underestimated. And by the time they realize it, you'll be standing at the edge of your new beginning, untouched by their shadow. The ground beneath you is shifting, not as metaphor but as movement, rattling bones, old foundations cracking under pressure too divine for human plans. You are standing in the eye of something ancient. The moment has come. Not the moment of ease, but the moment of war, when all unseen forces finally step out from the veil and the battlefield reveals its true terrain. You were never abandoned. You were positioned. The isolation wasn't rejection, it was insulation, so that when the fire fell, you wouldn't burn with the rest. But now the fire has been summoned. It comes not to destroy you, but to separate what can withstand divine weight from what will disintegrate beneath it. Archangel Michael says, the sword has been unsheathed. It was forged before time to deal with the forces that wear human faces but move with serpentine hunger. This sword carries no pity, only purpose. And its purpose is you. You were marked by flame the moment you said yes, when you could have chosen comfort but instead chose truth. That mark, invisible to the world, has always glowed in the realm of spirits. They saw it, even when you forgot it. That's why the attacks came. That's why the betrayal festered. They weren't afraid of you, they were afraid of what you would activate. And now, the seal is breaking. Not just over your life, but over the regions attached to your obedience. The prayers you whispered when you had nothing left, the ones soaked in tears and anguish, those prayers formed a seal. And now heaven has declared, it is time. Do you feel it in your chest? That tightening? That trembling? That is not fear. That is alignment colliding with fulfillment. It is the weight of prophecy stepping into physical form. And it will be violent. Holy things always shake the earth when they arrive. God says, I have waited for the moment your spirit would no longer flinch at the sound of war. That moment is now. The people around you may not understand. They may ask what's changed. But nothing has changed, everything is simply revealing what it truly was. You are not leaving a season. You are leaving an illusion. What looked like favor was distraction. What felt like delay was precision. And what seemed like abandonment was strategy. You are being pulled out of the familiar to be crowned in the fire. That is why the sword has descended. It is not a sword of violence, it is a sword of severing. Severing soul from spirit. Shadow from truth. The imitation from the authentic. And as it moves through your atmosphere, do not resist the cut. Let it do its work. Let it divide what cannot enter tomorrow. There will be signs, undeniable, surreal. Clocks pausing at strange times. Conversations repeating like echoes from another life. Names falling into your spirit without reason. And most of all, silence in moments where you once would have screamed. That silence is strength. That silence is your anointing solidifying. Archangel Michael says, when the seal breaks, the imitators lose their covering. Watch who begins to unravel. Watch who accuses you of change. It's not that you changed, it's that you stopped carrying what was never yours. The kingdom you carry cannot coexist with compromise. This is why things are being stripped from you with urgency. Not as punishment, but as mercy. You are not losing time, you are being restored to the time you forfeited trying to make broken things beautiful. You may see things tomorrow that don't make sense in the natural. Don't interpret them with old eyes. The seal does not break quietly. It shatters with precision. It disturbs. It exposes. And it activates. Those who once called you delusional will suddenly sound confused. Those who once dismissed you will start mimicking your language. And those who tried to contain you will begin reaching for your hand. But this time, you must not extend it. You are not the healer. You are the vessel. And vessels must stay clean, separated, and aligned. Anything less, and the oil stops flowing. God says, the sword is not only for enemies, it is for you. To cut away what you've outgrown. To pierce the layers of fear that cling like second skin. To release the version of yourself I have been guarding until now. You were never waiting on a miracle. The miracle was waiting on you. On your yes. On your full surrender. On your willingness to lose everything to gain everything. The seal breaking may cause chaos in the lives of others. Let it. They were warned. They had time. They chose convenience. You chose the flame. There is a scroll being opened in the realm above, and your name is upon it. Every delay. Every tear. Every unanswered ache. All of it is accounted for. And the decree now reads, release. You've cried for deliverance. You've begged for breakthrough. But this is the violent correction of delay by divine edict. And it does not come with comfort. It comes with exposure. Expect tomorrow to sting. Expect things to rise that you thought were gone. But when they do, do not panic. This is the clearing. The smoke before the door. The uprooting before the soil is made ready. You will feel dizzy, perhaps disoriented. You may wake in the night with your hands clenched, your heart racing. That is not fear. That is your spirit remembering how to wield the sword it once held before time. You are not just being delivered. You are being recommissioned. The realm that once ignored your voice will now be forced to reckon with your authority. Not because you shouted, but because you endured. The ones who left will hear your name in their silence. And the ones who stayed silent will be silenced by the thunder of your rise. The sword has fallen. The seal has split. And the old world has just begun to burn. It will not arrive with warning. It will not wait for permission. When the light comes, it will come like thunder poured through glass, shattering time, unraveling illusions, and exposing every lie that claimed it could hold you. This is not a sunrise. This is a rupture. The day of unveiling has bled into the night, and tomorrow is already burning its edges into today. You will feel it before you see it. The moment just after midnight, when your breath feels borrowed and your pulse is no longer yours. The veil is gone. The heavens have turned their full attention toward you, and nothing in your life will ever be allowed to pretend again. God says, this light is not gentle because your future cannot be fragile. The softness will return, but first, the light must undo what was woven in the dark. This light has a voice, and it is calling everything by its true name. The masks, the substitutions, the bargains you made with pain, none of it can stand under what is now being released. This is not a flicker of hope. This is the complete transformation of your atmosphere. They will not believe what happens to you. They will scramble to find the version of you they last saw, the one still aching, still waiting, still second-guessing. But you have passed through the gate. The breaking of the seal marked the final severance, and the light has come to crown you in the truth of your design. Archangel Michael says, "Time has bent in your favor. The delays have expired. What you thought was lost in the past is now standing at the door of your future, restored beyond recognition. The divine timeline has snapped back into place. And everything you thought would take years will begin tomorrow. The faces you see will shift. The familiar rooms will feel foreign. The places that once held you captive will now seem too small, too loud, too dull to remain in. Do not fight this dissonance. It is the echo of deliverance still reverberating through your body. You are not just healed. You are made new. You were not just prepared. You were resurrected. This is why the dreams have grown violent. Why the nights have stretched long. Why the people who used to calm you now drain you. The light has already judged what cannot pass through the door, and your soul has already agreed. Even if your mind has not caught up, there will be one final voice. One final lure. A person, or perhaps a pattern, returning at the last moment, dressed in repentance or urgency. Do not be deceived. The light has no tolerance for cycles. The invitation is forward or nothing. God says, "I did not bring you through fire to return you to ash. I do not resurrect things to see them rot again. This is your last moment in the old dimension. Breathe it in, and let it go. Your steps tomorrow will not be guided by logic. They will be commanded by alignment. Your eyes will fall on things you did not seek. Opportunities will chase you. Names will be spoken in rooms you've never entered. And when the moment comes, you will know exactly what to say. This is not a reward. This is a reckoning. Every act of obedience, every silent surrender, every time you forgave without apology, it has all compounded into divine currency. And now, heaven pays what is due. You will remember things you didn't know you lost. Fragments of joy, glimpses of identity, dreams you laid to rest in exhaustion, they're rising. And this time, they will not vanish. Archangel Michael says, the light will not negotiate. It will demand. And everything that responds to its sound will be reordered for your sake. Time itself is folding to accommodate the weight of your arrival. The moment you step across the threshold, you will feel it, the absence of resistance. The lifting of old burdens. The stillness of divine clarity. You will know what to do. You will not be confused. This light carries instruction, and it has been etched into your spirit like a seal. The enemy of your soul made one last attempt to delay this. That's why the last week felt like suffocation. That's why old fears screamed louder than ever. They were screaming because they were being evicted. And now that time has cracked, they cannot follow you through. The door opens at dawn. Not with a key, but with a sound. You will feel it. You will move. You will not ask for confirmation. The days of questioning have ended. The days of becoming have begun. You thought you were fighting to survive. But you were training to reign. Let the others watch. Let them wonder how. Let them wrestle with their assumptions. You own no explanations. Only obedience. Tomorrow will be the day the lie dies. Tomorrow will be the day the light takes shape. Tomorrow will be the day your future arrives fully clothed in everything you thought was lost. And when it does, you will walk through. Not as a beggar, but as fire wrapped in flesh.